So if you're gonna share anything, just go
Okay.
share screen.
Okay. And then I can make it happen. Okay. Clearly don't usually do this. All right. Let's see. All right. Okay. This is Jay. I'm doing my class now. I love you so much. You can stay. Just, I'm just kidding. Christina is going to come in here, and so is Aniqua. So I know there are two other people that are coming in. I'm Stella. I'm on the ALC here. I live right there. Literally, I think I'm here all the time. So what are y'all? Eric, nice to meet you. Holly, nice to meet you. Are y'all new agents or like new? Okay. I will tell you, this has been like, I've been selling real estate since say 2017, because it sounds longer, but 2018. I got my license in 17, and then I didn't start selling until 18. So I've been doing it that long. I started with Keller Williams in 2019. I was at a different brokerage before. Let me just tell y'all, y'all are in the right place. This place has got it all figured out. Do what they say, follow the models. I don't even follow the models that well, and you will take off. Look at Christina. I mean, how long you been doing this? And you capped in like a hot minute, and in 8 months. That's amazing. She's amazing. I'm not, because this was your idea. So do y'all know Aniqua? Okay, Aniqua is amazing. Well, she called me yesterday and said, hey, I need help running this CMA. And I thought, well, there are a couple other people that have asked how to do that. And so I thought, well, yeah, let's do this. And if there's anything that's like boots on the ground, how to get nitty gritty, like we all learn how to work our database and we all learn how to do all these things, but maybe we don't all know how to set things up in showing time. Or like I just got, it's gonna be the tan death march. I just scheduled 8 showings today. We're gonna be doing a long thing, but like mapping it out and making sure that you're like doing it in an efficient way. We can talk about that kind of stuff. Anything that's like how to agent, because we can, like, there are tons of classes in here that teach you how to use your database and all that. But if there's anything like this and y'all have any questions, I'm an open book. I might not do it right, but I do it sometimes.
You're doing great.
I'm happy to share what I know, or we can find other people that might do it better. Casey, who's on here, is amazing. She's been selling for quite a while, and I'm sorry, my mother is calling. Let me mute her. Okay. I thought we would start. There are like 700 different ways to skin a cat when it comes to running a CMA. The CMA is basically your market analysis. Like, it is this, like, okay, let's say you go to a listing appointment and people say, you know, how much would you list my house for? Like, Aniqua, you asked me yesterday, you were like, how do I know? I'm like, okay, I'll show you how to figure that out. Or if you're going to look at houses and people say, is this priced well? You know, a lot of them are expecting you to know right off the bat. And if you're familiar with the neighborhood, you can be like, yeah, you know, I think this is in the ballpark. Let me go run some numbers. But if you're not, then, you know, I usually wait until they fall in love with the house before I go run this, because this can take quite a long time. Like I said, I'm doing like 7 houses today. So if I were running this off of 7 houses, I might jump off the bridge. So I thought we would start because Christina has a house that she's going to be hopefully listing very soon. And it's here in West Ashley, which is, do you mind if I use yours? We talked about this. Do you want me to, or do you not? Okay, perfect. Can y'all close these doors? Because I can hear Jay. Sorry. Sorry, Jay. Thank you very much. I hate sounding bossy, but I think it helps. Okay, Christina, tell me the address of yours. Port Royal. I think it's, if it's in West Pawnee, I think it might be Port. Okay, okay. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, so 51. Okay, so, and Christina said this one hasn't come up in the MLS. So it might be that this one hasn't sold in 7,000 years. It might have been built in 1962 and the original owners live there. And so the MLS might not have it. So we can put it in here, and this is a good one to know. So we put it in here and it's 51 Port Royal. And y'all, I don't type well when people are looking at me. Okay. So it's not coming up. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over here to the CRS tax information that's on that main screen. See that CRS tax doodad? And the reason we're doing this is because we want the data about what, let's see if it, Fort Royal. Okay, sorry, my bad. All right, let's go over here. Oh, it is Fort. All right, still doesn't pull up that way, but okay. But we've pulled it up on here, and West Pawnee, in case you are not familiar with West Ashley, is right over there. Some good friends that live in there. It is right next to like Charlestown Landing, and is one of the more desirable neighborhoods over here in West Ashley because of its location, and it's, you know, well-maintained homes, and they're generally a little bit larger. Okay, so on the tax record, have y'all been in here before? Okay, so this is a wealth of information. We get the address here, we get the subdivision here, the tax map number is here. These are all important things you'll use when you're actually listing the house. And maybe we need to do a quick class at some point on like how to put a listing in. Yeah. That would be fun and optimistic of us all. Okay, so it looks like it sold in 2018 to these folks. And it looks like, here's what I think happened. All right, Carrie Murphy was the seller, perhaps Carrie, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's not showing up in here. Maybe they sold it off market. All right, so you get your tax information in here. Their total taxes for the year, it looks like are 5,500-ish. They have their loan, how much they took out their loan for. This is a 3-bedroom house, 2 bathrooms, and it's 2060 square feet. Hey, Winnie. I told y'all this is gonna be super informative. And then the cool thing is, like about a year and a half ago, they pulled all the flood information out of the tax records, and it made all the realtors in the world want to jump off a bridge. They have put it back in. So we have the flood information in here too. So that's good. We know this is in the AE flood zone, and we see that they've updated it to the new tax map. So in 2021, it got shifted to the AE. Okay. And it may be that it's got parts of the house that are in both. So that's gonna be important. You're gonna need to know that. They're gonna need to detail that in the seller's disclosure. All right. Now, we saw it's in West Pawnee. If you don't know anything about West Pawnee, then you would call me and say, Stella, you live in West Ashley. You're super familiar with West Ashley. What neighborhoods do you consider are comparable? And you'll get to where you know this. Are you pointing that camera at me? Okay. So you would say, okay, what are neighborhoods that are comparable? And I would tell you, you know, most people that are buying in West Pawnee are also buying in Northbridge Terrace. They're buying in Sandhurst, and they're buying in like Huntington Woods and Park Shore. So I'm gonna write those down. Park Shore, Huntington Woods, Sandhurst, and then Northbridge Terrace. Okay. There are parts of this neighborhood that are on the water too. So it's right next door to Charlestown Estates, but typically the people looking in either one of those, they're a different level of house. Fair to say, I hope. Yeah. Okay. So were I to do a CMA, on this. I'm going to show y'all a couple of different ways we can do it. My favorite is using software that we have to pay for called APC. But I'm going to show you that last. I'm going to show you the free way first. It's better to keep your expenses down. I think it's going to be $10 a month. Is that right? It is worth it. You hit a razzle dazzle button, but $10 a month adds up over time. That's $120 a year. If you're trying to keep yourself lean and green and lead with profit, then yeah. But there's also Cloud CMA, which runs things fairly quickly. The Cloud CMA is right here, the green one. And it is easy to run, and it is free, and it is provided by the MLS, so you can do that. Now, I'm going to show you old school how to do it real quick. Well, and I'll tell you, there's some in here like Remind. I really want somebody to teach a class on that. Market Monitor is very helpful, but I don't know enough about it. I think it would be really helpful to dive deep into some of these at some point. Grace good at everything. Okay, so if I were doing, I would click on Quick Search, okay? And I would go over here and say, I want to look at active properties. I want to look at pending, active, contingent, which are, ones that are under contract, and closed. Down here, it's going to ask me the date they closed. This time last year, I would tell you to go 6 months back. This time this year, I would say go a month back, because the market is shifting every day. And some of them I'm like, go 2 weeks back. So let's change this to a month ago is 07/13/2021. And then we're going to copy that. And we're going to paste that here, although it doesn't really do anything with that. Okay. So these are going to be all the houses everywhere that have closed. Now we're going to scroll to, y'all are watching me. It's so hard when you watch. The subdivisions, okay? And we said that West Pawnee, look up keywords because I don't spell it. West Pawnee. See, two people don't spell it right everywhere. That's the same place. They put that W in there. It's not supposed to be there. But anyway, so we had West Pawnee. I don't know what West Pawnee Place is. That's not anywhere that I'm familiar with. Park Shore. We're going to look those up. There are a bunch of those. Park Shore Row is not comparable, so we wouldn't add that. We're going to say Sandhurst. There are 2 of those. And then that we could say Huntington Woods, but for the sake of just moving fast, I'll show you that. Okay, so you can get more granular, and you can say that we decided this was a 3-bedroom house. We're going to do a minimum of 3 bedrooms and a minimum of 2 bathrooms. And so far we got 7 results. So if we take that out, it's going to give us a few more results probably, maybe not. Okay, 7. All right, so do you see the results here? We're going to need a little more than 7. So let's go back to the beginning of July. That changes to 9. Eventually, that does. How do I make myself go away? Go away. Okay. All right. All right. So now we're going to hit list. These are all the houses. Look, there's one on Fort Royal right there, pending and under contract. That's going to be a really good comp. It's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and it's 3,200 square feet. And it's 3 bedroom. I mean, it's been on the market for 3 days and already under contract. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hit this handy dandy button that says CMA. We're going to use all the results. You can do a quick CMA or a full CMA. I'm going to show you the full one because your clients are going to be more impressed with that. Okay. And we're basing it off of the average square foot. You can change those to sold price and all that, but I mean, approximate footage, I just keep it in there. All right, so you'd say it's for Christina. She's your client. And then you did it as of today, and I always say, always use current date. It's updated more. So we're gonna fix that. All right, we're gonna go to next step. All right, your subject property, 51, Fort Royal. And then we're gonna say Charleston, South Carolina, 29447. And then you're gonna say show map location, because it has to do this geocoding business. And then you'll say use this location. Okay, so it's on a tidal creek, just from looking at that picture. That's nice. Okay. So then this is the fields that it's going to be talking about in here. If there's something in here you don't think matters, like lot size, you can cross that out. Just go like that and it's gone. Lot size doesn't seem to matter, but I'll leave it in. But if you don't want, if you don't think that bedrooms matter or bathrooms matter, you can cross that out. And then you can move these up and down. Okay. So then we're going to go to next step. All right. These are all the things that popped up on that list. I am OCD. And so I am moving all the things that are pending to be next to each other, all the active ones. That one on Sussex is active. And this way it's a little more organized because, just the way I am, sorry. I usually move the closed to the end. And then these pending and active contingents are all together. Okay. Now, let's say, okay, I had a house that was in Huntington Woods not too long ago. It was a super, super modern house. I pulled together all the comps for Huntington Woods and all the things in our area, but I also knew there were like 2 super modern houses that were around, like in not those neighborhoods, that would still be comparable, but the rest of those houses in the neighborhoods weren't. You can add another one here if you want to, just so that you don't have, just so you're not taking into account everything in Avondale, just that one house that was modern. So you could add that there if you wanted to. Okay, so then if you were an appraiser, you can go in and do these adjustments. I don't do the adjustments. I never do adjustments. And the reason why is because I think that looking at it, looking at them one-on-one seems to be the most helpful thing for me, instead of I don't know, it gets muddy for me doing it that way. Nope.
What's
So,
the adjustment? What are you guys talking about for bedrooms and bathrooms?
And I mean, you can, if that's, and if you can get that granular on it, like if you're like, okay, this house, because, okay, remember when you were in your, I think I'm zooming in on my, when you were in your class and y'all talked about running comparables and stuff, remember how your instructor was like, okay, that's a negative. If this house has 3 bedrooms and that one has 2, then you adjust it down. I don't mess with her on this. This is just. So, and when I show you APC, the cool thing about APC is it does that for you. So yeah, so, and like APC doesn't really look at the bedroom bathroom situation as much as the square footage, with their idea being that if it's 3,000 square foot, then likely it has more bedrooms. I mean, and so that doesn't actually even really compare in their stuff. And I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so again, maybe I'm being lazy. All right, so then we're gonna go to next step. All right, so these are all of the comps. I wanna make sure there's at least, there need to be at least 2 or 3 that have been sold. And then in this market, the active contingents to me matter almost more than the solds, because that's what happened last week, not what happened a month ago. Because this stuff that closed a month ago is different. I mean, like the market's moved since then. So I call the agents when they are under contract and I say, is your person able to tell me what the house is under contract for? Because then you have a better idea of what's happening in real time. And then I also like, okay, this one on Winchester, this one's been on the market for 16 days. In this market, that's unusual. So perhaps this one is a little bit too high. Now 7 days, that's not too bad. But these, look, if you look at these other ones, they went under I mean, maybe not this one that was 55 days, but most of them are going under contract fairly quickly. So, okay. This, when we scroll down here, this gives you the low end, the average, median, and high. So for active homes, you know, this is where we are for pending and closed. So then we come over here and like I said, this one's a little more clunky than doing it through Cloud CMA but I think it'll be interesting to look and see where we land on each one of these different systems. So this one says the average list price is $599 and the average sold is $503. So then we're going to click over here and you can go into more detail on these when you look. Let me think how, if it'll get me out of here. Let me go to next steps and then I'll show you something else. Okay. So this has that it recommends you be in around 503. Now, let me hit save. I don't want it to go away. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to return to search results. Okay. So Christina, you've been in this house. Has it been updated? Let's pretend like you have. It's updated. Okay. So let's look. I'm going to go to price per square foot because I always. Oh, I'm going to need to get in there first and see the antiques. My house is all antique. So I grew up in a house that was built in the 1800s. I get a little bit like with my Dutch colonial. Okay, so the price per square foot, the cheapest one we have here is, now always remember houses that are larger are going to sell for a lower price per square foot than houses that are smaller. So this one is going to be kind of close to the 2019, yours was 2060. So
When you said houses that have larger square foot, it's cheaper per dollar?
Yep. You would think it wouldn't be that way, but it's like if you've got a house that's 1,000 square feet and you've got one that's 3,000 square feet, there's going to be a big difference in how much it sells for price per square foot because it's the neighborhood there. Okay, so this house here is not looking very updated, right? Also, y'all, can we just discuss that the pictures are ruining this listing?
Yeah.
You need to pay for good pictures. You will totally get your money back. This is, I mean, like these floors are beautiful. My dude is 160 and he takes gorgeous pictures. Yes, it's Syndicate. They're amazing. And Vicky is the one that takes mine and I love her. JC owns the company and they do.
The normal price.
He's actually cheaper than a lot of people.
But I get like an additional picture where it has the sunset and all this stuff. It's like $199.
150 to 200.
He has a 24-hour turnaround. She does a great job and has pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many pictures do you get? Like however many it takes.
Yeah. It depends on the house, but I would say minimum.
Jay Turp, was that loud? Sorry.
I was like, where'd that come from?
Jay Turpin's wife does them too. She just did some for Adrian and
Oh,
they were
nice.
beautiful. So
Good to know.
support somebody. Yeah, support somebody in our office.
This is Casey. We love Casey.
Sorry. I've got a 4-year-old here in a corner, so you know.
Casey's the reason I'm at Keller Williams.
Yeah.
Casey's amazing. Okay, So, all right, here's another one that closed, and it was 230 a square foot, and it's kind of close to the same square footage. This one's on Orange Branch, which is a very busy road. So entirely possible that this one was a little bit lower price than it should have been because it's on a road that's across from the school. So anyway, okay. So let's go back to what we said. Let me see. All right, let me see where I find my CMAs there. All right, so where did you go, Christina? There. Okay, so this one said that Christina's, so when we're looking at that, if you look through all of those pictures and you're like, okay, it's got my price per square foot at, where's the price per square foot? Right here, around 244. If you look at that and you see the other ones that were I should have opened this. Let me see. Let me see if it'll. Yeah. Sorry, I told y'all this was informal. Come on. There. Okay. There, it's not gonna do the thing. Okay, so when we looked at that list of the ones that were in there, the ones that sold around 244. Let me open it. All right, so let's see. The ones that sold around 244, you would look at your house, since it's giving you that recommendation of 244, you would look at your house and say, my house is better or worse than that. And you would adjust off of that. And then when you get over here to your recommendation, you can change this and jimmy with it yourself. So if you looked at that and you did the calculations, okay, this one says mine's supposed to be around 244. Actually, the house that just sold for 244 is on a busy street, which brings the value down a little bit, but it's got an updated kitchen and everything's been gutted. So maybe my house is actually around 242. Like it's a little bit less in value. You would do the calculations and change that there. Okay. This is not my favorite way to do a CMA, but this is your free way to do it. Let's go to, and then you can download that and you can make a report out of it. But let's go into some of the ones that are a little bit better. All right, so now we're gonna go, I haven't done this one in a hot minute, so y'all just bear with me. Okay, yep. So
this is the one from the.
This is the one where you click on this green button. Yep, green button. All right, so. This is all, yeah, it saves to your, you will download it to your desktop, but it also will save it in your cloud for tied to your MLS stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Look, it says activate your account when you go to it. And it says it's normally 105, but it's 0 divided by MLS.
Okay, so you can put some little notes in here like Christina's great, but she thinks her house is like worth $7 million. So we need to be able to like put in some notes to kind of remind you where you are and where your thought process was when you're pulling this stuff together. Okay, so Christina is very full of her house. Okay, so this one sucks it in. Now, you've already driven by the house and you've taken a picture of it as you were stalking it. So you can add your picture in there if you want to. And we are going to say it a single family detached home. And then let's see, if you wanted to, okay, sorry. I can't remember.
So detached, is the garage is detached? What is?
No, it's got 2-car garage.
So what is detached versus attached?
Okay, so a single family detached home is just like a house, it's standalone house. A single family attached is going to be like a townhome
Oh, okay.
or a
I
condo.
see.
Fractional ownership is like if you're buying a beach house
Mhm.
out at the Isle of Palms with 7 of your best friends. You know what a manufactured mobile home is? And that's all. I don't know what other.
So I do remember all that from school, but I was just like, hang on.
Okay, so you can do the quick and dirty. The problem with that is, as we know, the neighborhoods right next to it are not necessarily, it's like Zillow, that's like Zillow. You know, like, oh, you live next door to XYZ house, but it's not the neighborhood anybody wants to live in. So you can go in 2 different ways. Let's go here. Yeah, leave. Okay. So you're going to go in and you're going to say, I know that neighborhoods in Sandhurst are comparable. Or I have looked through here and I've looked in the neighborhood and I know this house is a direct comp, even though it's in a neighborhood that's maybe not like that one that we talked about. Yeah, I was supposed to list this one. I'm a little bit mad about it. I'm just saying. Okay, bitter party of 1 over here. The girl was like, I decided I need to use my best friend. I'm like, it's okay. Abundance mindset. Okay. Okay, so let's say we know this one. We can go in here, type this number in, and say fetch listing. And it will add it. And you can add like 10 of them. Okay. So that's one way we can do it. We can go back to here. All right, and then Christina, I'm sorry, I'm using you. All right, so this one, I would go in and add all the different ones from all the different neighborhoods, pull up MLS listings. And so I'm gonna go like this.
I see why you say it takes a little bit.
It takes a long minute. It's good to have a split screen if you can have one. Go over. So you would there. Add the MLS listings, or let me just show you if you do the quick and dirty. So you see if you add the MLS listings, you would go in and look through those same neighborhoods that we looked through before, and you would add those 1 by 1 into here. Okay, but let's say we want to do it by proximity, and we do not want to go back 1 year. We want to go back 2 months. More criteria. Let's say we want to say it has to have a minimum of 3 bedrooms and it has to have a minimum of those many bathrooms. And let's say we want it to be, if you're narrowing it down by the square footage, I usually do 300 on either side. So if it's 2,000 square feet, I'm going to say 1,700. Whoop, that's not 1,700. And then this one, let's say 2,400 because it was close to another. If you go to 1,600, that's a way different than 1,700 in my mind. Makes sense. Seems like a lot. Okay, so then we do fetch listings. I can't make this go away. Okay, I'm not very good at this. Sorry, guys.
You're doing that.
Okay, so these are all the ones that are in the area. It says there's 1 active, 2 pending, 5 sold. There's been a canceled. Pay attention to the ones that have canceled because that tells you something about that house. Like if it sat on the market for 80 days and they canceled it, then it's likely it was the price. But you can also call the people and ask them why it was canceled too. So this one, well, okay. So you'll look in here, all right. This tells you that this one was in Avondale. Avondale is a little different market than West Pawnee. So if it's something where you want to make any adjustments, let's see if this one will let you do it. I haven't done it in so long. Details and adjustments. Okay. It does not let you do adjustments in here. All right. So if we wanted to say, all right, these are the low end of the sold and the high end of the sold. You'll look through all of these and kind of go through the pictures and make sure like how you feel that yours actually comps out. Is yours better or is yours worse? And then you'll start to look at it after a while and you'll be like, okay, there's one just like this. That's same square footage or close in square footage, same bedroom, bathroom situation. And it was priced at $230. This is in a neighborhood that I think is a nice neighborhood, but it's not as nice as ours. So maybe if I'm comparing it to that one, then we're at $235. Like because you'll look at the next one that was at $240 and you'll say, wait, we're not that nice. And you'll kind of, a lot of this is why Zillow can't beat us, because a lot of this is you using your expertise, and Zillow just kind of looks around. Like this one's a little too Zillow-y because it looks around at what's close and it doesn't really know that Avondale is a more desirable neighborhood. So a lot of this is going to be y'all using what you know about the market and about the area and what you know to be comparable neighborhoods. And if you don't know it, go ask, call somebody that does. Nobody around here wants you to go list a house for 500 that needs to be at 498. I mean, at 400. So don't. So don't be afraid to ask people about that stuff. Let me probably pick the wrong one. Sorry. All right, customize report. So this is when you get to where you think it looks good. On this one, you can change in here. You can go in and change the theme. Let's say you want it to be these colors, whatever your branding is, you can kind of pick through and change it. So this one lets you like jazz it up a little bit. I also have a part in here, I haven't done this in so long, that has, this is what the front page would look like. There's a cover letter that I've written, see, and it pulls in your stuff from the MLS. This is something that I wrote a while ago. I don't even know what it says because I haven't used this one in so long. And then you can change the template. Some of them are, yeah, here's like as if you were an appraiser. And then you can see, let me see if it lets you do. Maybe not. They're different, and y'all can play around with these. This is like if it's a pre-listing package. Let me see. I'll show you what it looks like. You can literally have not been in this one in a long time. I'm going to show you all the cloud CMA and I mean APC, and then you're going to be like, oh, okay. And then look, you can also do it live while you're there if you want to present it to them live. Okay. So it'll print it out like this. It'll have, and you, like I put in here a little bit about my resume, top 10 reasons to list with Keller Williams. See, Berkshire Hathaway, I still have my old thing in here. Definitely haven't used this in a couple of years. But you can put in all this stuff that's like how to reach you. So that is all part of this customization here. And so this is a good report. I think it's better if you use that capability of putting in your own listings instead of having it pull from other places. Where we talked about adding the MLS numbers here. That would be where I would use. Is that how you use this one? Do you add your own MLS or do you do the quick and dirty? I think it's really helpful if it pulls the quick and dirty that are from that. Like if you're selling in a neighborhood like Nexton, where there's consistently 50 things on the market that are part of Nexton, and those houses are all very similar. I think quick and dirty works. I think when you're looking at these older neighborhoods where it's like pockets and they're all in different places, that's where you're going to need to use your expertise on knowing the different neighborhoods. All right, now I'm going to show y'all APC, and y'all are gonna be like, why did you show me this other stuff?
I didn't know there was this much.
There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. And I'm probably blowing through it too fast because I'm showing you too many.
No, you're fine.
This one is, you have to pay for it. So this one is pricing.apc. let's see, let me log out and see what it's called. I know. Okay. This
Your
pricing.
login and password is-
I mean, I'm kind of like, sure, use it. We'll spend the $10. But okay, so here you would log in. It's this pricing.apc.data.net. Okay, so we're going to sign in. Go away. And then, all right, this is the clunky part about it that drives me a little bit crazy. All right, so I have to add the property first. So 51 Fort Royal. And then it's Charleston. Right? Okay, so one of my problems with the APC is it's supposed to pull from the MLS. There is sometimes a lag. Things that have closed are showing up as still active listings sometimes, so or under contract. So you do want to kind of go back and check it and make sure that you're happy with where things are. All right, so, and look, you're supposed to type people's phone numbers and stuff in there. I'm like, I don't have time for that. So I just type in like that. All right, that's me. Okay, I'm adding myself as a client, but if I wanted to add Christina, I would say Christina Green. You have to do this. Oh, whoops, there's that. I'm telling you, I hate there. For real, I just need the person's name. So then it says, then I always make the mistake of like thinking I've done it there and you haven't. So now you have to go add the property. So submit. Now the property's in there. Now we're going to go over to new chart, property value analysis. We're going to select over here. Here's 51 Fort Royal. It is a single family detached home. And then West Bonnie, add Sandhurst, and Sandhurst, and Huntington Woods, Northridge Terrace. Sorry, this takes a minute. The more you can add, especially in this market, the more you can add that are comparable neighborhoods. Did I do that one, Travis? And more neighborhoods that are comparable in a smaller time frame, the better. Makes sense. All right,
So
we'll
it
do that one.
it doesn't have to be only the neighborhood that they're in.
No, any comparable neighborhood. Now, if you're talking like Nexton, I would just leave it because Nexton's got 7 zillion houses.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about here and each neighborhood has 200 houses in it, I would, okay, Grove Creek Village. That's part of, people think that's Northridge Terrace. And it's not. Now you know. Okay, so those are all the neighborhoods that are around here that are pretty comparable. I, again, go back about a month right now. 6 months was what most people in other markets go back a year. I only went back 6 months because our market moves so fast, and now I'm only going back a month if I
This
can.
is okay, like when you submit this and.
Well, because, you know, this is your opinion, right? This is not facts. It's just like an appraiser. It's their opinion of the market value.
I guess that's what I mean too. So like, once you come up with a number, like. The fact that you only went back 2 weeks versus, 6 months, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter until you meet your appraiser. And then hopefully your appraiser is operating under the same theory. Now, I have had, here's how I've been pricing things lately. And I think it's working really well. Okay, I'll tell you all this in a second. I have been pricing things slightly under where everybody else is because my clients that are looking at $350,000 are not looking at houses that are listed at $350,000 because they know they're all going over asking. So I'm listing them at $345,000 because everybody's going over asking. And then everybody's like, oh my God, there's a house in this neighborhood for $345,000, and they all come running towards it. And then you're up at $370,000 before you know it. So I think that's my strategy. It might not work for other people. I've got one right now that is under contract that we listed at 360. And there were two houses on either side that were at like 370, and they'd just been sitting there. My house is equally as lovely, same square footage and everything. We're under contract at 378 right now. So those two houses, we're under contract for more than those houses were listed for, and we listed lower. So there's a little bit of a chess match happening. And then when I talk with the appraiser and they say, are you appraising? I'm like, and they say, why did you put it here? I say to them, I came in lower because I wanted people to be, I know it's worth 370, but I wanted my people to be able to have those buyers come in. And so I do talk to the appraisers and let them know where I was thinking, because there are a lot of them that are like, oh, it went over list and you must have run your comps. And so you put it here. So now it's not going to appraise. So I make sure I have that conversation. Okay. APC, in order to work, you have to have at least 7 properties that have closed. This looks to only have 5. So we have to go and change this to, let's do that. That's going to work because there are a bunch of them that have closed recently. Okay, 10 properties. So I'm going to say generate chart. If I wanted to, I could say I only want these houses right here and drag it around and stuff like that. But we're not going to do that. I'm going to clear the polygon, and then we're going to say generate chart. All right. APC, and your clients will love this because it looks all fancy. You're like, oh, look, and I will say Cloud CMA will do charts and stuff for you. We can dive deeper into that too. But this is, I'm trying to get through as much as I could, as fast as I could. Okay, so this was my property right here. Isn't that pretty? Record setting in the area. Okay, so right now we have 6 active, 14 pending, and 10 that are closed. We're going to go to this list. We're going to say, okay, Christina, your house is somewhere in this square footage here, right? So we're going to look, these are running from 227 a square foot to 280. So I typically would like click on here and look through the pictures. We've already looked at this. We know yours is better than this. We're listing at more than 227 already, right? This one on St. Augustine has been semi-updated. Those are original cabinets that somebody has painted. It's got some dated granite countertops, but they are granite, dated tile. So this one, maybe your house has been totally gutted. And so we're kind of feeling like maybe yours, but this has been on the market for 56 days. So yours is better than this, but this is obviously priced too high, because it's always a matter of price. People are like, why isn't my house selling? Because you overpriced it. That's it. Because if you priced it in the right place, somebody would buy it, even if it had like rats living. Right? So, okay, so we're like, okay, somewhere between 227, 280. So we're looking at, that's what's happening active. Now we're going to look over here at these ones that are pending. This one went under contract in 0 days at 367. Oh my gosh, it did. I can't believe it. This house was not great. He used mine as a comp. Okay, that one is on the water and it's deep water. So that's why that one is. Now, because that one is so far off from what we would normally do, we're going to delete it. Because, wait, hold on. Before I delete it, let me show you this. All right. Right now, APC says your house is worth between 479 and 522. Okay. But that's if it's just average. Okay. So if we change these little doodads, wow, the price goes up and down. Okay. So now your house is on the water. So we're going to call it, it's not deep water though. We're going to call it 4 stars instead of 5. See how it shifts a little bit? Somebody has gone in and opened the whole thing up, and that's what people want today. So we're going to say the layout is 4 stars, 5 stars, whatever. But when you're looking at these, you're looking at them as compared to what is on this list. Okay. So when we go over here to these ones that are pending, And for example, this one, if your house looks similar, opened it up a little bit, got a new kitchen, repainted the walls, then you would say you wouldn't really move the thing. But if you're looking at, you want these to be as close to similar as possible, and then you want to have your stars reflect off of that. So here's this one, Fort Royal. We already looked at it. Which one? We haven't looked at this one. This one's Northbridge. This one's, let's get one that's closer to your square footage. This one, okay.
361.
Yep. All right, this one's in Northbridge Terrace. I think Somerset, I think it's Northbridge. The pictures get a little wonky in here. All right, so this one has not really been updated. They would think this was semi-updated, you know, because it's not, they've opened it up a little bit. All right, the bathrooms are all original. They're beautiful floors, but ooh, look at that. That is fancy. I know. Well, and it's very retro and in style. So when you're writing up your listing, you say super retro, amazing tile from the Mamie Eisenhower days. Like, you know, that was, but I mean, there's great outdoor storage here. So you're going to look at this. This one that was over here that's under contract, guys, it's an outlier. We're going to delete that because that's not anything like ours. It's on deep water. It needs to go away. Let's look at what that did to our, let's say, put it back to our average. So it didn't change it much. No, you're fine. I do keep, like, if there are a couple of outliers in there, I do keep it in there because it does matter. I mean, like, because that one that I sold that was like 1.5, that one does change the value of what's happening over here right now. Okay, wait, this area is an area where people will spend 1.5. So you can kind of keep it in there. Just, I wouldn't keep 2 outliers. Throws it off a little bit. Anyway, so then we're going to look over here at these ones that have closed. This one's 2021. That was 210 square feet. This one's got, ooh, okay, something happened to that floor. I think they had to pull the floor up. So look, this house is like under construction. This was like a flipper or something that gave up. So that one is not going to be a great one. We know it's going to be more than 210. So this is, it's all about using your head and what you know about the area and looking at the different ones. All right, this one's, I look at the square footage. I look mostly at the square footage, and then you know, I look at the bedrooms and bathrooms too. I mean, if I'm looking, if I got 2 houses and they're both 2,200 square feet and one of them has 1 more bedroom, then there's going to be a slightly higher value to that. But that's my opinion, because somebody else might rather have bigger bedrooms and that same square footage. So that's why I worry about some of those adjustments, like beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And that's why I think APC takes into consideration mostly the square footage. All right, so here, let's say that this is, you know, we looked at this and let's see, our house is better than this one that's on Orange Branch, that's 234, but Orange Branch is a busy road. So we're going to say ours is probably close to around 55 square foot. Let's see if it agrees. I don't know. Go to analytics. This is really cool. All right, so this one has it at 243 a square foot. So it's looked at everything that's in there and it's come to that analysis. And it says, because we're selling this time of year, it's down $3,600. If you were selling this in April, you could probably get $3,600 more for it, because that's a higher time of year to sell it. The market conditions, the market's up $2,000, so those kind of cancel each other out. This is what it says the market value is, and this is what it says that you might want to list it for. I usually just look at the market value and list it for around that. Now, here's what's really cool. If you list this house for $395, you're going to sell it in 1 day. if you list this house for 342, it's gonna, or 642, it's gonna take you at least 70 days to sell it. So it gives you a range of where, of what you, and then you send this to your people and they're like,
Well,
"That's
they
way
get
expensive."
to-
So, and you can say, guys, look, the whole goal of this is to sell your house, not to list it. Like, we are not here to list your house. We are here to sell it. So, you know, I think the smart thing to do, if we're trying to maximize the dollar, the smart thing to do is to price it a little bit under where you want to sell it for in this market, because you will get what you want if you do it that way. And then, like I said, you can play with these, and if they are stubborn people, like Christina said, her house is amazing and it's really like infested with fleas, then, then sit down with Christina and say, hey, Christina, bring this to your listing appointment. Hey, Christina, these are the other houses that are on the market right now. You know,
What do you think?
yeah, does your house look like this? If we were comparing on stars, and this one's a 5-star, is yours also a 5-star? And then you come over here and you, and put it on them. Like, what do you think? Where does yours list here? I mean, for the stubborn people, and they'd be like, you know, actually, you're right. That one's on the water. So maybe mine's like a 4-star instead of a 3-star. We're gonna move that.
It's a 10-star.
And then say to them, and just say to them, listen, I think your house is worth $1 million. I think this is great. The problem is this neighborhood doesn't support that. So we have to work off of the neighborhood. So anyway, I don't know if this was, oh, this is another cool thing. Let's say we're gonna sell this in December.
Oh, it'll change it.
Look what happened. It dropped $2,000. So like, if they're like, I'm just thinking I might sell it in next summer, then, you know, we can, this goes off of, I think it was like 10 or 15 years of market data. So it uses that to kind of predict what the market, which you can predict what's happening right now. But anyway, I don't know if this was helpful. It's just a swag. I can sit down with y'all, and when you decide if you want to do it certain ways, I just blew through those first 2 ways. But really it's more, it's so much more than just like plugging it into a spreadsheet, because I guess what I'm trying to drive here is you are not Zillow. Zillow will tell you that your house in your neighborhood is worth $512,000 because the house next door sold for $510 and this one over here sold for $515. But who knows which one of those has granite countertops in it, because Zillow doesn't. And you do, because you're an agent who is using her brain and his brain to make those decisions. So we have all this software, but what we really need is your expertise in your brain, and you're looking and analyzing pictures and the sites, stuff like that. Casey, do you have anything to add?
You look so proud of you.
I love Casey.
That was awesome. You did great.
No, I didn't, but I did it. So there's that. Okay, y'all write down my number. Call me. I am happy to help anytime. Christina is really good at this too. She thinks she's not, but she is. Casey is also good. So please, my number is 843-367-2025. And you know, I'm happy to go in a deeper dive with any of these. If you, for your very first one, if you need to sit down with somebody, we can do that, you know, just, yeah. And honestly, just feel confident, because you know what you're talking about. You're not stupid, or you wouldn't have gotten into this. So, you know, you can do it. Believe in yourself, and just look through the pictures. Anyway, I don't know. Informal. All right. Thanks, y'all. Bye, Casey.